We are officially also live on Facebook.
Oh, wow.
Are you nervous? Because I am.
A little bit, yeah, I can't lie.
Okay. Okay. Right. Awesome. Let's do this. Oh, all right, guys. For anybody that doesn't know, I'm Barv, and this is Roshni.
Hi.
This is the very first episode of Creators Campfire, which is a bit crazy. So we are officially streaming live to Instagram, and I don't know how to get rid of this echo, guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I have my phone turned down, so Instagram is turned down, so I can only hear you from my iPad. But I'm not sure what else it could be. I'm trying to turn down my iPad too, even more, but...
Okay. I'm just going to hit refresh, guys, in case it's me. Oh, it's definitely just me. All right. Is that any better? No. All right. I'm coming off Instagram Live a sec. We'll go live again. Hang on. Why is this happening? Hello, Facebook. We've just got some Instagram issues. If you bear with us 1 second. Let's try that again. It was always too good to be true.
Right.
Live. Let's try again. All right, I've kicked everyone off now, haven't I? You were going to have to join me again.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. Let me know when you're in. Hey, guys. Yes, people. Ruby, what's up? Oh, I've missed somebody. Is it okay? We're not echoing.
Yeah, I don't hear it anymore either.
Oh, I've added the wrong person. Hang on. Okay. I can't find you yet, Roshni.
Yeah, your live wasn't showing up. Let me refresh my Instagram. Okay. All right. So let me request.
Loving problems to start with.
Cool.
There you go. Awesome. Right. All right. Fingers crossed.
I know. Hopefully it'll work.
Come on.
Oh. Okay, cool.
Sweet. We're good to go. Tell me the echo is gone. Oh, I can still hear it. All right. We're just going to go with it, guys. I'm very, very sorry. Facebook should be better. I hope. I haven't checked the connection. Right. Where was I? All right. So thank you guys, everybody, for joining. This is the very first episode of Creators Campfire. Every week we will have a content creator, an entrepreneur, a business owner, some kind of side hustler on the show to understand all about their journey, how they got to where they are today, what they do, and all about their life, really. So as this is the first episode, just a bit about the format. We'll go straight into it with the questions in a second. After that, I'll give Roshni a few minutes to kind of just freestyle about her area and whatever she wants to do. And then we'll finish up with some kind of rapid fire questions you don't know are coming your way, a little bit of fun, just to get to know you a little bit better. Perfect. So without further ado, welcome. This is Roshni. This is Life Coach Roshni. So firstly, tell us a bit about being a life coach. What does it mean?
Yeah, definitely. So I kind of had this like perception that life coaches were just crazy and it was like a super privileged thing to like either have a life coach or be one. And when I went to college, I kind of spent like pretty much all of those 4 years in therapy. My college insurance covered therapy for students. And so I was able to really spend a lot of time there. And it definitely helped. But I think when I spent that much time in therapy, I realized that there were some downsides to it. And so some of that was, just you get an appointment when you get one. Even if you schedule one at the end of your session, it takes 2 or 3 weeks until you can, really talk about your problems again. So it's almost like you have to like
Right.
save your problems until you
Yeah.
like the next session. And then
Yeah.
also just like if you see them around, and like my college campus was really small, like you can't, say hi, or you can't like acknowledge your therapist. And there was just kind of like a feeling, even if the therapist was really welcoming and accepting, there was kind of like a feeling of like authoritarianism in that situation where it just felt like, I was looking to get approval from them. And obviously, a lot of that was like my own kind of mental blocks as well. But when I graduated, I was thinking about, going to grad school to be a therapist and get my PhD. But then I realized like school just didn't make sense for me. I couldn't like grow and be myself with that
Okay.
lack of time constraint. So as I was looking into it, I kind of found life coaching. And the reason that I really went for it is that the main difference between therapy and life coaching is that therapists focus on the past and, why you got to be the way that you are and your
Sure.
childhood, and all of that's totally valid. Like, I'm not saying one is better than the other. I just think that they complement each other. So
Yeah.
with coaching, you're focusing more on the future and even the present. Like, what are your behaviors? What's your mindset right now? And that was kind of what I was missing when I was in therapy. I was like, I dug into like all this deep stuff from my childhood and from my past, and I've discovered that I'm really hurt. I've discovered parts of where the pain comes from, but now what? And so that
Right.
was kind of the lack that I felt. And now, even just starting my personal growth journey for a year or two before I became a life coach, I realized how much I could really just like work on mindset and how much that was what was shaping my everyday experiences. And so that's really what kind of got me started onto this journey of being a life coach. And so you really just help people with, what are their present day problems? What are they coming up like against? What are their mindset patterns and limiting beliefs? And when you kind of uncover all of that, you get to the core of like what is bothering a person and what is stopping them from like living their full lives.
Right. Okay. That's kind of cool. I didn't realize about the difference there with life coaching and like therapy. So
Yeah.
on your journey, were you always wanting to do something in this area then? It was always a plan, it just wasn't necessarily life coaching?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, I started out as like a neuroscience major in college, so I really wanted to
Okay.
go into
Right.
research and all this
Yeah.
stuff. After a couple of years of doing that, I realized like I wasn't meant to be in a lab. Like, that's not really where my passion was. And I kind of understood
Sure.
more of like what research looked like
Yeah.
in a neuroscience perspective. And so I was like, no, I'm kind of more of a people person than that, even though I am sort of introverted. So
Yeah.
I was looking at therapy, and I knew it was like my biggest passion and my biggest interest. I just didn't know if therapy, or I didn't know about life coaching at all at this point, but I just
Yeah.
wasn't sure like what, um, how I could make money out of what I wanted to do. And I had all these really separate interests like film and writing and all this stuff. And I didn't know how to like combine it to do something. So I wouldn't say I always knew it was an interest of mine, but I didn't know it would be my career.
Yeah. Okay. And I guess you just mentioned about being introverted, but also wanting to help people. How do those kind of fit in for you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think with introverts, like you really do thrive in small groups, or you thrive in a one-on-one basis, and
Yeah.
you don't really like small talk as well, right? So when
Yeah.
it comes to like life coaching, even packing things into like a 50-minute or 60-minute session, or even like an hour and a half, like you're like not just like, hey, how's it going? Like you're really
Yeah.
doing like a deep dive into like this person's thoughts and even examples from your own life or what you've done to be able to fix things or mend problems. So I think it actually does complement being an introvert. Even with
Yeah.
group coaching, like you can do public speaking that would be in a giant room, but even group coaching, you try not to have more than like 7 or 10 people in a group because you want everyone to actually get some use and like get some benefit out of it.
Yeah.
And so I think it actually kind of works well with being an introvert.
And do you prefer that one-on-one coaching or do you prefer that group coaching?
I think I just prefer one-on-one in general.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I've done more one-on-one coaching than I have group coaching.
Right.
But I think with one-on-one, there's less of like that barrier of, worrying what people think. And when it's just 2 people and like one person is, just being open, like that's kind of going back to like the authoritarian part of therapy that I didn't really like.
Sure.
Like someone's like writing on their notepad and sitting in a chair and like staring at you in kind of like a sterile room. And all of
Yeah.
that stuff just kind of makes it feel like impersonal and like you're being judged or being, just like, I don't know, it kind of puts you in this weird position. And so I think doing it one-on-one and just letting the other person kind of get things off their chest, and even using examples from your own life, which usually therapists don't really do. I think all of that is really helpful.
And how long have you been doing this? Because you're not that old, right?
Yeah, no,
You're very young.
My birthday's in July, so almost 26. But yeah,
Wow.
But I've been doing this for about 2 or 3 years. So I'm not doing it like, I'm not fully supporting myself on my business yet. I've done this like full-time jobs and stuff. But yeah, I think it's just something that I am so passionate about that I'll do it anyway. So yeah, it's just been a few years, but it's been an amazing ride.
So you're not doing it full time. How much of your time does it then take?
Well, right now the company that I last worked for actually closed down. So I'm looking for a new job. So for the last couple of months, I've been doing it full time, and it's been great to have that much extra time and attention devoted to it. Before, when I was working full time, pretty much like all my weekends and most of my weeknights were kind of dedicated to doing this. So it definitely took a lot of extra time, but that's why, you know, it really helped to have that passion behind it, because that's what I need.
And now you've seen that full time kind of, you can do it full time. Is that something you want to carry on doing now, or is it just like not the right time, or how do you feel about that?
Definitely. I think, you know, I am starting to push more of like my services and start making sales. And I think I needed to get to this point where I was like confident in myself enough to even do that. Like, I think for like when I first started my YouTube channel, that was like the first step that I took in this entire journey. And I didn't tell anyone that I was doing YouTube for over a year. There was like maybe 2 or 3 people in my life that knew. And other than that, I was like, I'm not telling anyone. This is embarrassing. This is weird. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm kind of grateful that I gave myself that time to like grow into it authentically and like see what I really could do. And every video I make or every piece of content I put out there, every time I coach, I get better and better. So I needed to like really spend some time like in this industry and like giving advice and talking to people and hearing back from people saying that things helped them. I needed to go through all of that to build up the confidence to even really put my coaching out there, because I didn't want to just like sign on people when I decided one day that I wanted to be a life coach and then just like, you know, go from there. So I needed that time to warm up.
No, makes sense. Let's just say hi to people. Lisa on Facebook, hello. We have a whole 3 viewers on Facebook.
Hi.
We have 5 on Instagram. Right, let's see who I know. I don't know a lot of these people, but thank you for joining. I hope you get something out of it. Oh, Gemma. Hello there. Awesome. We've got some people from the community. Hey guys. Awesome. If you've just joined us, we're just talking about what life coaching is and kind of the path that Roshni's taken and how she's doing it. Virginia, hello.
Hi.
Awesome. Cool. So life coaching, I know you're not doing it full time, but Jamal, hello. Nice for you to join. What does it like a typical day look like for you then?
Yeah, definitely. So obviously a big part of it is like my own personal growth practice and like journey. So I usually meditate a little bit after I wake up, and then I just kind of have my breakfast and do my thing, and then I like do a quick workout, and like I kind of like to get these different things out of the way. I do either some morning journaling or like kind of some manifesting where I'm writing things out. But then after that, I pretty much kind of have like my week chunked off into different things that I do on certain days. So all of my videos and my podcasts all go live every Wednesday. So usually Monday and Tuesday will be editing days. But of course, I just kind of block off when I'm not available for coaching and then leave the rest of the time open. So if I did have a coaching on a Monday or a Tuesday, I would obviously, you know, work that in and prioritize that. Because you can edit anytime. So that's kind of what I look at is like, do I have any coaching appointments today? And then based around that, Monday and Tuesday I edit. Wednesday I do a lot of marketing and online like promotion, Pinterest, Instagram, all that stuff. And then Thursday, Friday, I am like a little bit heavier on the coaching, and I also take that time to do any website updates or send out my email list and other things that are like a little bit more permanent, I guess, in terms of like you don't need to update your website every day or every week. So I take that time. And then lately I've been playing around with like giving myself time on weekends off, but that just started like a couple weeks ago. So normally
Yeah.
I'll work the weekend or batch record content on weekends.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do find that batching helps. It kind of it
Mhm.
just gives you that dedicated space. You're like, okay, today I'm doing this and I
Yeah.
know what I've got to do, rather than doing that whole, I'll do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and like being a bit all over the place.
Exactly.
But yeah, I also agree with you about just taking that clean break, or that one day, half a day or something, and
Mhm.
just taking a step back and going, I'm not doing anything today. And that's okay to just be
Yeah.
like, it's okay, guys.
It
I've got a day off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we've talked a bit about what life coaching is and how you kind of got there and kind of your journey, but I was reading on your site a bit more about your story and why you wanted to get into it in the first place. Is that something you want to share about kind of your background and a bit more about why and your story?
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
So, I, like I said, I was in therapy for a long time. So even after I graduated college and, I had a change in insurance and all of that, I went around to a different therapist. And like, I really just kind of had like a full on like breakdown after like this really intense
Right.
session with her about like my family and all this stuff. And it was our first session together. So it wasn't even like
Okay.
as deep as it probably could go, but I'd never
Right.
been like that to a therapy session before. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
there's something here. Like, and so, that's kind of when I started getting into personal growth. But for a long time, like I just didn't do anything. I kind of like became a zombie version of myself. And then
Right.
as I started, learning about like business, I saw so many personal growth themes like within the business community. And then also just found personal growth podcasts or books or, TED Talks
Right.
or whatever. And so
Sure.
after really learning about all of that and kind of getting into that world, I was like, wow, this is what I've been like thinking of, and like this makes so much sense to me because like
Yeah.
I have always been interested in mental health, but like I don't know that this just makes more sense to me than going into therapy and like diagnosing people or going into psychiatry. So based on that is when I decided like I can actually do something, I can say something. And like it really happened in such small steps. Like I was at home one day, I went back to Texas to visit my parents, and I was like, you know what if I had a YouTube channel? Like I hadn't watched YouTube for like a good 4 or 5 years, and then just started getting
Right.
into it because I had free time again. And I was like, oh my God, I could do like yoga, or I could do DIY stuff. And like that was really what I was kind of like into and what I had spent a lot of time doing. But then I realized like this is bigger than that. Like I realized that the pain that I had from that first therapist meeting afterwards and just feeling like off for a few months, I realized when I was traveling alone that was like this sense of me being unloved or feeling unloved.
Right.
And that was like a really core deep fear. And I started like learning about these different things and mindset shifts and all of that, and I was like, wow, I think that love and self-worth are like the two biggest things that are like the core of all of our wounds, right? You either don't feel good enough, or you don't feel like you're loved, or you feel like you're going to lose people's love if they do X, Y, and Z. And so that's when I was like, this is what I should be talking about. And for so long I'd always wanted like, where's like another Indian American girl or like another Indian girl that's grown up in like a Western society that's talking about that experience, because like it's a lot and there's so much going on in that situation. And for years I was looking for someone like that, and then I was like, why don't I just do that? And so that was really kind of what it took for me to step into this. So I started out as a content creator first, and then realized like after that life coaching is totally what I want to do. So that's kind of how the journey started a little bit.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Just before we carry on, Lisa's asking what your business is. So Lisa, Roshni is a life coach. And I think you may have possibly missed in the beginning. But do you just really quickly want to give Lisa a quick overview of what a life coach is?
Yeah, definitely.
For anyone that missed it.
Yeah, so a life coach focuses a little bit more on the future and your present self and like mindset and how all of that affects how you go about your daily life. And so I specifically call myself a self-worth coach, but really they're kind of interchangeable. But the core of like my practice is helping kind of peel back the layers to help you find why you don't feel good enough, or even dissecting like your mindset around the idea of why you don't feel good enough, or why you don't feel loved, or why, like, even beneath all of our fears of success and failure and limiting beliefs that we have, under the core of that is kind of this general belief. And so that's what I want to like promote. And I also think that unlearning is a really big step in that, because you have to unlearn all the stuff you've been taught to really let that side of you come back out.
Yeah. So, okay, so here's a question. Do you think, so some people are kind of like taking the view of it is what it is, kind of draw a line in the sand and move on. And other people take the approach that actually, you know, there is something underlying, and instead of ignoring that, you have to address it in order to move forward. Are you of the latter camp then?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I think like I had so many problems in so many different areas before kind of going on this path. And then when I started, I realized like so many of like the different areas of my life quieted down because I told myself that I'm like worth it, or I'm like good enough, and like all these different things. Like it quelled a lot of the drama in my life and slowed that down, because it was all coming from the same place. And so even if you have these different situations, there's usually patterns behind it all. So when you can get to the core of the pattern, you're kind of nipping it in the bud rather than dealing with these individual problems.
Yeah. So had you just kind of ignored it or said, you know, this is it, I'm going to try and change, you don't think that would have necessarily had the same impact as actually going back to the root and going, actually, this is what was causing it. Now I can move on.
Yeah, exactly. Because like if it was even drama with friends, you could be like, I really need to work it out with this friend. And maybe you do, but I mean, then it comes up again, and like you're dealing with all these things, but like what's really at the center? Why do they keep coming back?
Yeah. Makes sense. Okay, cool. So if we flip a bit to your actual like getting started and your content creation, so to speak, you said you started on YouTube then. And obviously you didn't quite necessarily start with the life coaching self-worth stuff, but how did you, you know, physically start things? So for somebody who is maybe looking to do the same thing, or someone who is just wanting to get content out there and doesn't know how to do it, what kind of steps were you taking back then?
Yeah, so I had already had some experience in like video editing and stuff like that from like my teenage years, but I literally just took my phone. It was like an LG at the moment, and I made like a cardboard tripod for myself, and I just started filming. And so I would, I would create like kind of like a general script or maybe a couple of bullet points, and I'd have, an idea of a topic I wanted to talk about, and I pretty much just went for it. And I think it took not telling anyone about it to like muster the confidence to do that, because I didn't need like 70 eyes to be on my first few videos. I just needed to like be brave and do it and suck it up. And from there, I just kind of started telling people. But it was really simple. The editing software that I still use, it's Filmora Wondershare. It's like $40 a year. So I really kind of took like the bare minimum of what I need. I didn't want to pay for a lot of stuff from the get-go. And then, over time I got like a better camera and, upgraded those things.
But not essential for someone starting out. Grab your phone, just get on with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's the message. It's not necessarily the equipment that you're doing. And I guess nowadays it's so easy to post to YouTube. It is phone, film, upload, right? Yeah. Lisa, yes, agreed. Negativity is a part of all of our lives. And actually, speaking of which, it's Mental Health Week, and I don't know if that was a coincidence. It was not planned, but good timing.
For real.
Okay, so between, I guess, starting your YouTube channel, what other platforms have you kind of considered or decided to go for, or not decide to go for over that period of time? And how long are we talking here? Like a couple of years?
Yeah, I think maybe 2.5 years or so. YouTube, and then pretty close after starting YouTube, I started an Instagram. So that was like kind of easy, and I just started really simple and really basic, and then and that has grown. And then just a few months ago, I think January of this year is when my podcast went live. I'd recorded a few episodes from like November and December, and then just finally took it live in January. So I've been doing that for a while, and that's been going really well. So yeah, just kind of slowly introducing these things. And I think like the hardest part for me was just deciding what platforms do I want, deciding when I upload and how frequently I do that. And and so I've been kind of like operating under like, just make it easy and sustainable because I'd rather be consistent than overpromise and under deliver.
Yeah.
So what I started doing is every other Wednesday I upload a YouTube video, and then on the opposite Wednesdays I'll upload a podcast. So I always have content,
Right.
but it's kind of different, and I get that break in between each medium.
Yes. And you'll have to excuse me because I can't remember what your podcast information. Where do people find your podcast?
Yeah, no problem. So the name of the podcast is called Is It Worth It? The Self-Worth Podcast. So you can find it if you go to anchor.fm/Betty Grew Up. There's all the links for whatever your podcast provider is on. So it's on Google Podcasts, it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, a bunch of them.
Awesome.
So that one place will have the link for everywhere it's available.
Brilliant. Magic. Cool. Lost my train of thought. Right, that's that guy. So I guess in terms of if someone was starting out and they wanted to do something, and they obviously got, nowadays I don't know how many platforms there are, what would you kind of say is the right thing to do? Would you just focus on one, or would you say pick a couple, or would you kind of go just widespread?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to have like an overview of everything you want to do.
Yeah.
So I knew even at the beginning, like I want to write a book someday and I want to do all these things,
Right.
but I'm not going to start on that now, right? So it's
Yeah.
okay to like make like a bullet point list or even like a vision board of like all your major like dreams, but then decide like what's the easiest for me now. If you
Yeah.
have a microphone, or if your phone has a good, mic, then you can just start with a podcast, or whatever feels like the easiest and most natural for you.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you feel like you have an industry or a good idea for a podcast, I think that is a great place to start. I know that they're so frequent and it seems like everyone has one these days, so that can get kind of challenging, but at the same time, a lot of people are listening to them, and it takes slightly less, like, I don't want to say skill, but there's less to think about. You don't have to like get ready. You don't have to do any video editing or anything like that. Like you might still edit audio, but you don't have to like create a nice background and like have a good camera. And so there's just kind of less barriers to entry with a podcast. But I would say no matter what you decide you want to do, just pick one first and then go.
And just do it rather than think about it. Yeah. Okay. If you could give yourself back when you started a piece of advice, looking back now, what would it be?
Oh man, I think it would just be like, I don't know, just don't give up, I guess, like, and be consistent. I would say those are like the two biggest things for me. Actually, okay, so I would say my first thing is be consistent, and my second thing is like be authentic, because for a lot of it, there were times where I really wanted to give up, or I didn't post any content for a couple of months. So that's kind of where the consistency comes in, and like the idea of not giving up. And then authentic, that's something that I'm still finding and had like some major breakthroughs around just this week. But I felt like I had to put myself kind of in a box to be like in the self-help world or the wellness world or whatever it is. And there are parts of like my belief system or my identity that maybe are still kind of outside of that world. And for a long time, I thought I'll just be kind of this person on camera and with my brand, and it's okay if I'm a little bit different. But now I'm really kind of embracing the differences and kind of using that to, I guess, set myself apart, but also just show up as myself. It feels better to do it that way.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed. Like you're going to get caught out one day, or it's going to catch up with you and you're just going to get tired. Just be you from the start. Yeah. No, agreed. That's very good. Okay. On the same subject, what's the best piece of advice you have ever received?
Just start.
Okay, fair. Yeah, mine too, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, just like stop thinking and get on with it.
Exactly.
Just do it. Yeah, Nike hit it bang on with their slogan.
Right?
Just do it. Yeah, completely agree. Okay, so I guess back in terms of your business and what you're doing and the current state of the world, I guess, how has the recent kind of lockdown or like panic in the world or that sort of stuff affected you and your business, and B, may affected or people that you coach, and some key themes that you're seeing there?
Yeah, you cut out a little bit, but I think you just
Sorry.
Like how has it affected my business, and then me as a coach, is that what you said?
Yeah, and then people that you do coach as well, are you seeing like a common theme in people and what's affecting them?
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, I think that when everything started, that's when I mean, I didn't really know what to say, I guess, about it. Like it sucks, but then there's like people are kind of all over on this spectrum. And a part of that is actually what helped me step into my authenticity, because like I was saying, I was putting myself in a box for the whole self-help world, and I was like, I have to always be positive. And I didn't want to get on the internet to complain, like that's just not me. But I realized that like it's okay to say things in society are messed up. It's okay to say that the world is like crazy right now. And that was a big part of like the part that of myself that I was trying to reconcile with me doing this online and like being in the self-help world. I was like, how do I tell people that sometimes life sucks and I'm not going to ignore that, but then also mix that with stay positive anyway. And I would say in general, like, I don't know, I think like my clients have maybe been down about it, but I haven't seen anyone like just freaking out about the pandemic itself, at least not like in our coaching sessions. It's been things that we touched on, but usually like their own problems kind of come before all of that stuff, at least with my couple of clients. But I totally lost my train of thought. I was gonna say, oh, did I?
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, I was just gonna let's say hi to some people. I don't know who's still on. We might have lost some people. All right, Pooch was here. Shane was here. Edward, if you guys are still here. Milan, Danny was here. I think we've lost them all, but hello and sorry. I'm not very good at multitasking.
Yeah, no problem.
If people are still here on Facebook, let me know. Curious to see who's around, and if people still are here. I think I've just lost somebody. I'm sorry if I was boring. I didn't mean to call anybody out. If you're still around, though, give me a wave. All right, so I have two questions that I always like makes me think, and I did steal one of them, but one of them is probably pretty standard. Is there a book that has impacted your life? Is there one book that's impacted your life more than any others?
Oh, that's really hard to say because two are coming to mind right now. But
Pooja is back. And Virginia, sorry to cut you off. Oh, no. And Virginia is still here. Excellent. We still have people.
Yeah, I would say like earlier in my like career of me doing this, I would say Big Magic was the biggest one. By Elizabeth Gilbert. So she wrote Eat, Pray, Love. And I mean, that really like set me apart in terms of like creativity and like all the pressure that we put on ourselves to always be creative, and how it's okay for one project to be less good than another, and just kind of all the ideas and like negativity or pressure we put on ourselves around a creative type of job or any sort of creative pursuit. Like that really helped me unpack all of that and like reframe myself so that I could look at myself more objectively and like not be so hard on everything I was doing.
Yeah. No, cool. I like that. And okay, if you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, what would you say?
Honestly, like you are enough. Like so much of what you are like born with that thought, and then everything that society says and all these experiences that you had, like they kind of tarnish that idea, but that like part of yourself is still there under all this like dirt, and you just need to clean it off and believe in yourself. And like it's not to be negotiated. Your worth or your sense of who you are is not to be negotiated with anyone. Like it's your choice, and what you decide to believe is what will flourish in your life. So just know that is really
I like that. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
That's cool. Okay, right. Before we get into a bit of rapid fire fun, are you okay if I hand over to you for a few minutes for you to just freestyle? I don't know what you're going to talk about. Something that you maybe want to educate the world on, you want to say?
Yeah, sure. I'm ready.
All right. All yours.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess like I'm not sure if a lot of people here are thinking about like starting their own content, or if people are just like interested in life coaching. But I think in terms of like starting your own content, really just, I think you can get overwhelmed, at least I did, with all of like the information out there and all the people that tell you that this is how to grow a business, or this is what the algorithms say, and this is what blah blah blah, like all those things really catch your attention. And for me, like I would tweak things that I was doing on Instagram or whatever to like beat the algorithm, or and like honestly, like it changes so frequently that even if like you did supposedly master some sort of algorithm, like it's going to change in a few weeks or a month or whatever. So that's one thing I would say is just like be authentic. And like as you start, like that's why it's so important to just start, because you'll find things that you want to change or that you like doing, or you'll get some positive, you know, reinforcement or some encouragement from people that enjoy what you're doing, and from there you'll really start to discover it. So like don't wait, because no matter how much you think and no matter how much you think that you're figuring things out or piecing it all together, it still would have been better if you had just started and figured it out along the way, because no matter what, going to learn along the way, and you're going to naturally change and make changes. So that's what I would say about like content creating in general. And then for anyone interested in life coaching, I think it can be really hard, and like to sign up for something like that, even to go to therapy, it's really hard for a lot of people, and they feel like there must be something wrong with me, or there must be, you know, something that I've done that is broken, and like we use language a lot like that, like I was broken and now I'm fixed, and like I think that's one side of the personal growth like world that kind of frustrates me. It's like even though I say things like I'm on this path now, or I'm on this journey, like I say that because like it's cheesy, but at least you're saying that it's always going to be there. Like there's no destination, there's no like one place where you're done working on yourself. Like you can always keep getting better and better, and you'll even sometimes slip up and make mistakes about things you've already learned, you know. So it's really just an attitude and a practice. And as life goes on and you know, get married or have kids or start a new career or a new job, whatever that is, there's new roles and new places in your life that you have to adapt to or have to, you know, incorporate into who you are. So don't feel like, you know, you're broken or you're admitting something bad about yourself if you want to sign up. Like it's something that anyone can do, and it really is just like you investing in yourself. That's what it is at its core, you know. So I guess that's what I would say about just life coaching in general.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think people do potentially see it as either a failure in themselves or a weakness, or it's like, oh, I can't be doing that. That's not the right thing, or society will look down on that. And I guess that's the whole point of Mental Health Week, is just to raise that awareness, to say, guys, there's nothing wrong with you, and it's not weak. And it actually, to be honest, it's showing strength for you to say, hang on, I need some help. It's actually the exact opposite. So yeah, no, awesome. All right, cool. I've written down some questions here. Hello to everybody and anybody who's still with us. Appreciate it a lot. Rapid fire time. Are you ready?
Yes.
Got some random questions for you.
Oh, God.
All right, here we go. What's the first word that comes to your mind right now?
Purple.
I like it. What's your favorite pizza topping?
Onions.
Oh, no. Okay. If you could have one superpower, what would it be? You're so Indian.
Oh, my God.
Onions. Flying.
Yeah.
Nice. What TV show are you binge watching right now?
Gilmore Girls, always.
Oh, I love that show. Okay, you're back in. You're allowed. Favorite board game?
Oh my God.
I know. Do they play them anymore?
Board games are a nightmare. I'm like very competitive, and so.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Pretty standard question. One person, dead or alive, you'd like to have dinner with if you could?
Oh man. Probably like Maya Angelou.
Nice. Okay. What's the top thing on your bucket list?
Travel.
I like it. Speaking of travel, if you could travel back or forward to any period in time, where would you go?
Ooh, I would like, weirdly, in like a selfish way, I would just go back to like when my family was thriving in Kenya, because all of us have left, and so I really wanted to know like what that was like to like live in be Indian.
That's that's cool. One thing you're grateful for?
Life.
So that's a good answer. All right, real quick. Are you a morning or an evening person?
Morning.
Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
iOS or Android?
iOS.
Nice. Texting or talking?
Talking.
Interesting. Netflix or YouTube?
Man, getting me right in the heart with that.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. I think I actually prefer YouTube. TV or book?
TV.
Winter or summer?
Summer.
Pen or pencil?
Pen.
Passenger or driver?
Driver.
Yeah. And cooking or baking?
Baking.
Nice. Well done.
Yay.
Good. I can't agree with you on the onions. Like, out of all the toppings, I would never expected onions.
Why is that the staple for any other topping? Brings it all together.
I hate onions so much. Oh, yeah, just can't. But you saved it with the Gilmore Girls. So I'll let you have that. All right, awesome. That's all the questions I had for you. So we've done it. We've made it to the end of the podcast.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate the fact that you said that you would be the first guest, not knowing what on earth you were getting yourself into. So really, really, really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you to everybody who joined at whatever point.
Thank you.
Hello, Instagram. Hello, Facebook. For those who came here from start to finish, I actually applaud you, not even knowing what was going on. So thank you. I'm sorry I wasn't very active on Instagram. I can't multitask. I will have to get better at that and work that out. But yes, if anyone wants to find out more about Roshni or life coaching, then she is on Instagram at Betty Grew Up, also online at bettygrew-up.com. She also has a YouTube channel, check it out, and a podcast called Is It Worth It? And I forgot the tagline.
The Self-Worth Podcast.
That was easy enough. The Self-Worth Podcast. Awesome. Guys, if you could share this. You know something? What I didn't do is ask if there were any other questions.
Oh, yeah, true. If anyone has any questions, just type them down.
Probably should have said that at the beginning. Great first episode.
Yeah.
Doing well. All right. While I'm rambling and finishing up, if anyone does have a question, real quick, drop it in the comments wherever you are. I will be turning this into a podcast at some point if I can work it the hell out. So if you're listening to this on podcast, it means I did do it. So thank you. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll be here next week, same time, same place with a different guest, unless nobody volunteers and I have to get Roshni back. For part 2. But that's been awesome. Thank you. I really, really, really do mean it. I really appreciate it. We'll distribute this to wherever we can. And stay safe, people. Be well. Be kind. Stay curious. Until next time. Adios.
Bye.
Bye.